Every day I'm learning that the real flex is just being in love with yourself and ignoring the world and knowing that you the shit.
Shasmine Clack was born and raised in Texas. She spent most of her adult life in Copperas Cove, a small and quiet town. People who lived near her said she kept to herself, focused on her family, and didn't get into trouble. She stayed close to her loved ones and spent most of her time at home. She had 5 children who depended on her. She made sure they were always fed, dressed, and taken care of. Even though raising that many children was hard, she didn't complain. Her main focus was keeping them safe and close to her. She did not have much money, but she made things work. Family members often spoke about how generous she was. If someone around her needed something, she tried her best to give it. Many times, she helped people who had no food or clothes. Even when she didn't have enough for herself, she still found a way to give. She didn't go out often or party. Most days were spent inside the house or walking her kids to the bus stop. Some people called her quiet. Others called her strong. She was known for staying calm during hard times and staying busy with her children. Shasmine had a past relationship with Alonzo Hunter, who was the father of her youngest child. The two had shared time together over the years. Those around them knew that their relationship was not always smooth. They had problems that only they fully understood, but they kept their lives private. She had no criminal history, no known fights, no trouble at work or school. She was just trying to raise her family and survive. Her story was not in the news until the day everything changed. Before that, she was just a regular woman living a quiet life. When her name appeared in headlines, people remembered the girl who always helped others. Her name started to spread online and in the news. Photos were shared. Stories were told. And many were shocked that someone like her could be taken away so suddenly. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment below. Where are you tuning in from? What are your thoughts as this story unfolds? Your voice matters. These are real people, real tragedies, and real lessons we can't ignore. Share this video with someone you care about. It can make all the difference. Welcome to Unseen Crime Dossiers, your home for spine-chilling cases, haunting before mysteries, and deep dives into the world of crime. From jaw-dropping real-life events to groundbreaking forensic discoveries, we're here to uncover the truth behind the most gripping investigations. Step inside, examine the evidence, and lose yourself in the shadows of true crime. February 1st, 2025, started like a regular day in Copperas Cove. The neighborhood around Tanner Drive and Anderson Avenue was quiet. Children were at school. Adults were working or at home. Nothing seemed unusual that morning. Sometime during the day, reports came in about gunfire near a home in that area. People who lived close by heard loud bangs and called the police. When officers arrived, they found a woman lying on the ground with serious injuries. Emergency workers rushed her to Advent Health Central, Texas. The woman was identified as 31-year-old Shasmine Clack. Doctors tried to help her, but her injuries were too severe. She was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. Police taped off the area and began collecting evidence from the scene. Later that day, investigators named a suspect. His name was Alonzo Ezekiel Hunter. He was 27 years old and had a personal connection to Shasmine. He was located and arrested without any major incident. Law enforcement said he was found at a nearby hotel. Alonzo was booked into jail and charged with murder. The news spread quickly through the community and on social media. People reacted with shock. Many had not expected a violent crime in that area, especially involving people they knew. By nightfall, police had secured the crime scene and the house stood quiet. Yellow tape still blocked off the street. Neighbors watched from their windows, some shaking their heads, others just standing still. It was a heavy day for the entire block. Within hours, local media picked up the story. Photos of Shasmine began to appear on TV and online. Reporters mentioned that the investigation was still ongoing and that police were not releasing full details yet. A life had ended, and a criminal case had begun. After the shooting, police worked fast to find out who was responsible. Witnesses gave names, and evidence led them to one person, Alonzo Ezekiel Hunter became the main suspect. He was known to law enforcement and had past contact with police before the incident. Police found Alonzo at a hotel not far from the scene. He was arrested without a fight. Officers placed him in handcuffs and took him to the local jail. He did not speak to reporters or answer anything during the arrest. He stayed quiet. The next day, the Copperas Cove Police Department confirmed the arrest in a public statement. They said Alonzo Hunter had been charged with murder. His bond was later set at $500,000. That meant he would stay in jail unless someone paid that amount. At the time of his arrest, police collected more evidence from his hotel room and from his vehicle. They also took statements from people who knew both him and Shasmine. Investigators believed they had enough information to move forward with the case. No major court dates were announced right away, but the legal process had started. The case was handed over to the district attorney's office, where prosecutors began reviewing all the details. Detectives stayed on the case to prepare for trial. The community remained alert as the news spread. Local outlets followed the arrest and shared updates on television and social media. Some people in the town already knew both families. It became a topic of quiet talks and heavy silence. By the end of that week, Alonzo remained behind bars. Police had completed the first part of their work. Now, it was time for the court to decide what would happen next. The justice system was now fully involved. News of Shasmine Clack's death reached her family quickly. Within hours, calls were made, and loved ones began to gather. Some traveled from out of town to be with each other. Everyone wanted to understand what had happened, but no one had clear answers. Her sister, Shasmine Clack, became the voice for the family. She spoke to local news and described how much Shasmine meant to them. She explained that her sister had always taken care of others and kept her children close. Shasmine said they never thought something like this would happen to her. The family decided to organize a memorial. They chose to hold a balloon release near Shasmine's home. Friends, neighbors, and supporters were invited to bring pink balloons and candles. On that day, people stood together, said her name out loud, and remembered her life. Photos of Shasmine were printed and placed around the area. Children stood beside adults, holding flowers. Some people wore shirts with her face on them. Others brought signs that said "Justice for Shasmine." It was a quiet event, but the message was clear. The family also set up a GoFundMe page to collect donations. The money was meant to help with funeral costs and provide for Shasmine's children. Within a few days, many people had donated. Messages of support came in from across the state and even other parts of the country. In the days that followed, family members posted tributes online. They shared pictures, videos, and kind words about Shasmine. Some posts spoke about her strength. Others shared memories of holidays, birthdays, and simple moments that now felt more important than ever. As the legal case moved forward, the family stayed united. They supported each other during court appearances and continued caring for the children left behind. For them, the focus remained on honoring Shasmine's name and protecting her memory. After the arrest, detectives continued to collect details from the scene. Officers went back to the house on Tanner Drive and walked through the property again. They marked locations, took new photographs, and double-checked their evidence. Inside the home, they found signs of a struggle. Certain items were knocked over, and a phone was found damaged on the floor. Near the back entrance, officers discovered a spent shell casing. This helped confirm where the gun was fired. Police also reviewed security footage from nearby homes. Some cameras caught movements on the street before and after the shooting. Officers used the footage to track Alonzo Hunter's vehicle and time his arrival and departure from the area. In the hotel room where Alonzo was found, more items were recovered. A change of clothes, a bag, and a cell phone were collected and added to the case file. Investigators believe these items could help establish his actions before and after shooting. Forensic teams tested fingerprints and DNA from a crime scene and the items found. Lab results were sent for processing. The goal was to build a full timeline of what happened and connect it with the physical evidence. Officers also examined phone records and online activity. They looked at recent messages, call logs, and social media posts. These helped build context around the relationship and what might have led to the incident. The official report was marked as active but stable. Investigators shared their findings with the district attorney, and the case materials were sent to be reviewed in court. Every step added to the structure of the case. Once Alonzo Ezekiel Hunter was officially charged, the legal process began. He remained in custody as court dates were arranged. Legal documents were filed, and both the defense and prosecution began preparing their arguments. The case moved into the hands of the state's legal system. A judge reviewed the case file and set the conditions for the legal proceedings. Alonzo was given a public defender to represent him. Prosecutors stated they would seek the maximum punishment allowed under Texas law. They requested that no contact be allowed between the suspect and the victim's family. Initial court hearings focused on confirming the charges and reviewing the evidence submitted by police. The judge agreed that the case had enough support to continue. Attorneys on both sides were given deadlines to submit additional motions and evidence. Family members of the victims sat quietly during the sessions. No disruptions were reported, and court officials maintained a controlled environment. The courtroom remained closed to the public during certain sensitive hearings, as ordered by the judge. Media outlets reported on the updates sparingly. A few local stations sent reporters to cover the events, but were limited in what they could record. Only verified court records and approved summaries were shared with the public. As of now, the trial has not yet begun. Legal experts estimate that it could take several more months before a full trial date is set. Both sides continue reviewing evidence, speaking with witnesses, and gathering testimony to prepare for the trial. The court has not released additional statements beyond what is already on public record. Until the trial begins, no verdict can be made, and the outcome remains unknown. The case remains under active supervision by the local justice system. The investigation is still considered open by local authorities. While charges have been filed, detectives continue gathering information and reviewing new tips. Any additional findings will be submitted to the prosecution before the trial begins. Shasmine's children are now under the care of close relatives. Family members are working together to make sure the children stay in school and have stable routines. Community support has helped with meals, clothing, and school supplies. Supporters in the city have held small gatherings to keep attention on the case. Flyers have been shared, and online posts continue to spread awareness. Organizers say their goal is to make sure the victim is not forgotten and the legal process remains active. The district attorney's office is managing the case schedule. Their team is focused on building a full presentation for the courtroom, including expert testimony and verified records. Court staff are preparing for a possible multi-day trial once a date is confirmed. Lawyers have advised the public to avoid spreading unverified details online. They warn that misinformation could affect the fairness of the trial. As a result, some content has been taken down from social platforms by request of legal teams. No plea has been entered by the accused at this stage. Until the trial starts, he remains held in jail under the conditions set by the judge. The next steps will depend on the decisions made during the early phases of court review. Shasmine's name continues to be shared in online tributes and community updates. Her family has stated they will remain active throughout the process. As legal actions move forward, they continue to adjust to a new reality without her. Shasmine Clack's story remains part of an ongoing case, but the impact of her loss is already visible. A life once filled with daily care, family routines, and quiet strength has ended. The effects stretch far beyond one moment or one location. Each person who knew her carries a memory that no longer has a living source. Her absence has changed how her household operates, how her children are raised, and how the community views domestic conflict. For many, this event has become a lasting reminder of how quickly life can shift. Groups within her town have responded by discussing safety more often. Support centers have been contacted more, and people are becoming more aware of how to report concerns. Quiet reminders now appear in conversations, flyers, and even classroom discussions. Local schools that her children attended have worked to provide comfort and structure. Teachers have adjusted the situation by offering small acts of kindness. Volunteers have stepped in to help with transportation, lunches, and tutoring where needed. Her case now appears in news timelines, social feeds, and court logs. These records will remain long after the trial is over. They become part of the public record. where her name will never disappear, but instead stand as a point of reference. New families who move into the area may not know her story in full, but her photo may still hang in a church hall, or her name may come up in support meetings. In that way, a portion of her presence continues beyond the final date on her obituary. Though the courtroom has not closed the file, the people around her have already begun the process of living with the outcome. The story is now held by those left behind, and it continues in how they move forward. The name Shasmine Clack now represents more than just a person. It symbolizes a story that touched many households, both near and far. Though her life ended suddenly, the impact of her time on Earth continues to move through the people who knew her best. Organizations that offer help to families have quietly stepped up. Donations made in her name have reached programs that give shelter, food, and basic needs to women and children in hard situations. These efforts are not loud, but they are steady and growing. Digital tributes still appear online. Birthdays, holidays, and family milestones often include messages meant for her. Her children receive these words from relatives, friends, and even strangers. The messages may not fill the empty space, but they serve as reminders that others care. Some community members have started private meetings where stories like hers are shared in safe spaces. These meetings do not make the headlines, but they give people a place to speak without fear. A quiet movement has started, built on care and concern. School staff and counselors continue to monitor the progress of her children. Their progress is measured by more than grades. It includes how they interact, how they respond to challenges, and how they cope. Each small improvement is a sign that healing is possible. Shasmine's personal belongings have been carefully stored by loved ones. Items like notebooks, favorite clothing, and family photos are being preserved. These physical pieces carry the warmth of her memory and may one day help her children understand who she was before the headlines. Her name may no longer appear in daily news, but within the spaces she once walked, her presence is not gone. It remains in memories and lessons learned and in the choices people now make after hearing her story. Here at Unseen Crime Dossiers, we're driven by a mission to uncover hidden realities, honor forgotten voices, and keep their memories alive. If this story made you pause, reflect, or feel something, there's more coming that will challenge you even deeper. Make sure to hit subscribe, tap the like button, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a case. We're dropping new episodes regularly, and trust us, what's ahead is even more chilling. Before you go, we want to hear from you. What moment hit you the hardest? Drop it in the comments. Your perspective matters, and your voice helps keep these stories alive. Until next time, stay alert, stay informed, and never stop seeking the truth, because every life deserves to be heard.